Welcome back to the podcast, Turning Pages. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Ocean.
And thank you so much for returning to listen. So today is a very anticipated, very fun episode. Do you want to say what it is?
Aristotle and Dante discover the secrets of the universe.
I'm so excited. Now, we have read this book before, and it is like one of our favorite books of all time. It's so wholesome, so sweet. The book is about these two boys, Aristotle, who calls himself Ari, and Dante. They're very different, but they become friends. Ari's trying to find himself, and he's going through a really, really rough time in his life. And Ari and Dante kind of help each other get through a lot of things, and they form a very, very close bond. As the book goes on, you find out that Dante is in love with Ari. And since this book is based in the 80s, a lot of people were against, gay relationships and stuff like that. So their bond grew. And at the very end of the book, they end up together. Because Ari finds out that he loved Dante the entire time. Reading that book again, made me feel so happy.
Me too.
I remember the first time I read this, and I read it in full on, like, one sitting. I sat down on the couch and I read it. It only took me a few hours, and I remember putting it down and being like, this is one of the best books I've ever read in my life. I rated it 5 out of 5 stars the first time I read it. It was amazing. I'm just so happy that I got to read it again. It's the perfect book to reread.
It really is. I've reread it so many times.
Yeah.
Like, I read it at least once a year.
That's crazy. Good for you, though. It's a good, heartwarming book.
It is.
So today is a book review about Aristotle and Dante discover the secrets of the universe. One thing I really liked about this book was the short chapters. The chapters weren't too long, and so I could, be reading, and I would be at page, 10, and then I'd look at the page count a few minutes later, and I'd be at page, 50. The short chapters just made the book go by so fast. But, in the best way possible. It was fast-paced. It was really, really well written.
I agree. I also find it's written in almost short sentences and short phrases.
Yeah.
Which is, I've never read a book written like that before. And yeah, I really love the writing. I find it's almost written as a poem. And it's just such beautiful and unique writing. And that's something that really stood out for me the first time I read it. More than the story, more than the characters, just the way that it was written is so beautiful. Yeah.
It is a really, really beautiful book. And one really beautiful thing about this book is how much Ari grows. He has a huge character arc. When the book starts, he's super depressed, and you feel really bad for him because it's he's sad that he's growing up. He's sad that he's not happy, and he feels as though he's not free, but he doesn't know what he's not free from. And he's going through all these issues because his brother Bernardo is in prison, but he doesn't know why, and his parents never talk about him. So he wishes his parents talked about him more. Also, his dad served in the Vietnam War, and he has issues with his father because his father doesn't really talk to him that much, and he wishes he talked more, and he feels as though people don't understand them and that he's unknowable. But as the book goes on, him and Dante are each other's person, even though they're so different. And Ari, over time, shows his emotions a little bit more and eventually cries in front of Dante as well and expresses how he feels to him. And eventually he does talk about his brother Bernardo with his parents. And it's just, I feel like the character development was one of the best I've ever read in a book.
Me too. And it was very natural. And it was just written so well. And I thought it was also one of the best representations of teenage depression.
Yes.
And also just 15-year-olds in general that I've ever read. Yeah.
I agree entirely. And it was really natural, like you said. He didn't get better immediately. But he did get better over time. And the time span of this book is 2 years, right? 2 summers?
I think
and 2 school years. And it was just amazing. It was amazing. Ari and Dante's introduction. So Ari at the start of the book can't swim. And he goes to the pool, to the public pool in town to try to swim. And Dante sees him struggling, and then he's like, do you want me to teach you how to swim? So that is where the introduction began. And then since that point on, they were inseparable. And they went swimming all the time. Ari eventually learned with Dante's help. Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah. So cute.
Yeah, they made so many summer memories. Like, they'd ride the bus together, and they'd make up stories of people on the bus, and it was so good.
Yeah. Did you know that they were in love? Like, when I first read it, I didn't know that was gonna happen at all. Whenever I first, like, got into it, I had no idea what was gonna happen, but I didn't know it was gonna be, like, a love story.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when I first read it, I thought it was going to be completely different than it actually was. I thought it was going to be like an interstellar type of book, literally. Like, I thought they were going to be in space. So very, very different than what I thought, but like in the best way possible. It was the best surprise.
Yeah.
I kind of had a feeling they would be in love just because they spent so much time together, but I didn't know, right? Because it was like the 80s, and back then it was like different than it is now. Yeah, but whenever you find out that Dante does love Ari, and there's kind of some, like, rereading it, I kind of noticed some inner monologue with Ari where it's like, you can tell that he's in love with Dante, but he doesn't know, and it's just like these little subtle lines that are like, oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The car accident.
It happens when it's raining, and they're hanging out. They're walking down the street, and Dante sees a bird, right, with an injured wing.
Yeah.
In the middle of the road. And Dante, he's very sensitive, and he's very empathetic.
He loves birds.
Yeah, and he runs into the road to help the bird. And a car comes, and Ari jumps into the road to pull Dante out of the road, and ends up with broken legs.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he said he did this without any thoughts. He just did it. So anyway, though, Ari ends up in the hospital with 2 broken legs. He's in there for quite a while. And Dante's parents are like, thank you so much for saving our son. And they love Ari. They love Ari for it. But of course they feel bad what happened to him, but they're very thankful that Ari saved Dante. And after that, after he gets his cast off, eventually he gets his driver's license because his parents buy him a really old, like a 1957 truck.
Yeah.
And it's red, and it has white on, like, the rims, I think. Yeah. I thought also it was a really good representation of the healing process, if that makes sense. Like, he was saying over and over that it, like, hurt and that it itched, and he was also saying, though, that he kind of hated Dante a little bit because of this situation. Like, he didn't regret saving him, but he kind of hated the fact that he had to go through this.
Yeah.
And I thought that was very human, because even though he loved Dante, of course you'd kind of hate someone after something like that. Like, you're very thankful that you saved them. Like, you don't regret saving them, but it hurts. The healing process hurts.
Yeah. And I think maybe at that point of the book, he maybe subconsciously began to realize that he was in love with Dante, or that he felt something very strongly for Dante, and that turned into resentment or, like, fear of Dante. Yeah.
And it is revealed later that he was afraid of Dante because he was afraid of, being gay.
Yeah. And that reveals why he was so depressed and why he hated himself so much, or a big reason why throughout the whole book. Yeah.
And it also explains why he didn't feel free. Because he said to himself, like, I'm not in prison and I'm free, but I don't feel free. He said that throughout the book, and then at the end of the book, he felt free.
Yeah.
Which is so beautiful.
It's so beautiful.
I loved a lot of the small moments in this book, like whenever Dante is away and they're writing letters back and forth because eventually Dante goes away for a school year because his dad got a job in Chicago. He's a professor. So Dante goes away and he and Ari write letters back and forth, but he writes a lot more than Ari does. And then for Christmas, Dante gives him miniature shoes to put on Ari's rearview mirror because Dante hates shoes. He hates shoes. He's always taking his shoes off, and they played a game in the rain where they'd tie their shoes together and throw them as far as they could. Which I thought was super cute.
That is super cute.
Yeah. The moment where Dante says he loves Ari, I love swimming and you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, was that at the end of the book? I can't
That
remember.
was before he left to go to Chicago.
Right.
And he was like, I've been meaning to tell you something. I love swimming and you, and I love you. And then Ari's like, what do I say? Ari's like, what the hell do I do? Poor guy was having an identity crisis throughout this entire book.
Yeah, that was so cute.
Okay, so going back to the letters. Ari barely responded to Dante's letters. For every multiple letters Dante would send, Ari would send one back. Because he was depressed, and also because he kind of hated Dante a little bit because of what happened still. And because, they were far apart, and, Ari was just going through it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's one freaking letter I hated.
Oh, which one?
The masturbation letter. It was so uncomfortable. Dante wrote this freaking long letter to Ari being like, is it normal to do this? Is it normal to do this multiple times a week? What do you think about when you do it? And it's like, that's too personal. I'm sorry, but what the heck?
Yeah.
And then Ari's furious. And Ari's furious and he's like, why the hell would someone send a message like that? That was freaking awkward.
Yeah. I mean, shout out to Dante for being open, but maybe that's a little too much.
That's a little too open. Do you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Even though they're best friends, there are some things you can keep to yourself.
I think Dante needs to get a journal sometimes.
Yes,
And
even
that's okay.
Ari has a journal, bro.
Yeah.
Ari has a journal that he writes in, and he writes his thoughts and, his emotions. He wrote a lot about Bernardo. Bernardo's a really big part of the book because he's really mad at his parents for not telling him what happened to him and why he's in jail, which we end up finding out, but we can talk about that later because it's crazy.
It is crazy.
I completely forgot about that.
Yeah. Crazy.
It's crazy. He is also very distant from his father because his dad's really quiet. He is a veteran and he's going through it and he doesn't quite understand his dad. And throughout the book, that relationship blossoms, which is very, very nice.
Yeah.
I really liked, and it was in a very natural way too. I liked so many things about this book just because it felt natural.
Yeah, it felt very human.
Yeah.
And the dialogue and the internal dialogue, all of it felt very human.
Yes, it was the dialogue of teenagers. It was the inner, dialogue of a teenager, of a depressed teenager. And then even the adults were made so well, and it was just so nice.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's really nice. Him and his dad's friendship grow throughout the book. He's always very close with his mom.
Yeah, I love the mom, and I love the relationship between him and his mom.
Yeah, they call her the fascist because she's very strict.
Yeah, I think that was one of my favorite parts of the book, and I love, just how real the characters are and how emotional the book was, if that makes sense.
I agree.
And yeah.
Mm-hmm. I liked how it was very much a coming of age thing. We've all been there with being depressed and growing up and then having friends that we kind of like and kind of don't like him and Gina and Susie, and it's just super sweet. Speaking of Gina and Susie, I freaking loved them. I thought they were hilarious.
Too. I love them so much.
So those are his two, I guess you could say, friends. They go to high school together. Ari kind of hates them in some ways, though, but he also kind of likes them and admires them.
Mm-hmm. Like, they annoy each other, but, like, lovingly.
They're like siblings.
Yeah.
And Ari, whenever he shows up to school and he has his leg cast, they're like, oh my god, what happened? And then he says what actually happened, and they're like, we don't believe you. Like, what? And it's just super sweet, and, you know, they're very nosy. They like to be in his business, but they're also very supportive of him, and they only want the best for him. Mm-hmm. And they get very happy whenever he starts to let loose as the book goes on, and whenever he starts to be visibly happier.
Yeah.
They also have a lot of sweet moments together.
Yeah, I think they really help with his character growth. Mm-hmm. And, yeah.
Elena, what do you think about her?
I thought she was an interesting character. I think she was really important for Ari to, like, realize that he's gay. Mm-hmm. And I can't remember what happened with her. She had a boyfriend who was in a gang, right?
Yeah.
And did she disappear?
Yeah, okay. So, like, she decided to kiss Ari at a party. Mm-hmm. And then you know, they hang out for a little bit afterwards. They hang out, like, because he works, and she waits for him after his shift, and they talk. But then he's like, can we go out? And she's like, no, I have a boyfriend. He's in a gang. He'd kill you if he found out you exist, and you should be afraid. And he was like, what the hell? And I was like, what the hell?
Same.
Because why on earth would you kiss someone even though you have a boyfriend who's in a gang who would kill that person if they found out that you were kissing them? You're putting that other person in for real danger. And he's like, why did you kiss me? And she's like, I thought you were good looking.
I feel like that is, like, a good representation of, like, teenagers, though.
It's
because
true.
They do make stupid decisions. No offense to teenagers.
Yeah. No, it's true.
We're teenagers. And, yeah, I feel like that's a good representation of how teenagers can sometimes make really stupid and illogical decisions just based on, like, how they feel without really thinking. Mm-hmm. And, yeah.
I just felt so bad for him. She was like, my boyfriend's gonna, like, murder you if he finds out. And I was like, girl. No, so, like, what happens to her is he eventually goes to her house, and her brother answers the door. And he's like, oh, is Elena here? And then her brother goes, she got, and I quote, knocked up and then married the guy.
Oh my God, yeah.
So she ended up having a kid with that gang guy. And then we never heard from her again. She never appeared in the book again.
Yeah. I mean, I feel kind of bad for her, too, because, like, she's in a situation that she can't get out of.
Yeah, and her and Ari were talking one time, and Ari was like, why don't you break up with him? And she was like, it's not that easy.
Yeah.
I felt bad for that future baby.
Yeah, me too.
Anyway, though. The kiss in Dante's room.
Ooh.
Do you want to talk about this one?
I think this is when he comes back from Chicago, and while he's in Chicago, Dante realizes he's gay, or that he likes boys at least, because he kisses a girl a few times in Chicago, and the girl kind of tells him, like, I feel like you're not really into me. I feel like when you're kissing me, you're kissing other people. Are you kissing, like, another girl, or are you kissing boys? And he's like, It's a self-reflection. He's like, yeah, I'd rather kiss boys. And he tells Ari this, and Ari tries to be chill about it. He's a little uncomfortable about it. And Ari, he's a very, like, avoidant person, I think, when it comes to emotions, when it comes to feelings. So he's very uncomfortable sometimes with the way Dante is very open about his emotions and open about sharing. Yeah. But he's not, like, homophobic. He's not, No. He still loves and supports his friend. Yeah. And then one time, they're in their room, and... Ooh. And Dante is like, so you know how I like kissing boys? And Ari's like, I don't want to talk about this.
Yes. Oh my lord.
And then he's like, well, how do you know that you don't like kissing boys? And Dante and Ari is like, I don't know, I feel like you kind of just know.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, well, you've never tried kissing boys. Do you want to try? And
It's crazy.
crazy. And Ari's like, no.
Yeah.
And then Dante kind of persists and eventually convinces him, and then they
Which
kiss.
is like, okay, kind of forceful.
Yeah.
Kind of like, if he's uncomfortable, don't make him do it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
But then they do kiss, and then Ari gets mad, and he's like, it didn't work for me,
Yeah.
But the reason why he's so mad is because it did work for him.
Yeah.
And now
he's
he
like,
knows.
oh crap.
So he's mad at everyone, he's mad at himself. And yeah, and then after it's a little awkward for them.
Yeah, they don't really talk as much anymore. I think one of the only reasons why they do talk after that is because Ari's aunt dies.
Mm-hmm.
And he calls Dante to tell him, and to also tell him that he needs him to take care of his dog, whose name is Legs.
I love
Because
Legs.
he found him the day his legs he got his like casts off his legs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they go to Aunt Ophelia's funeral, and then he finds out that his aunt was a lesbian, and the girl named Franny that he thought his aunt was just friends with was actually her partner.
Yeah. They were just really good friends. They were just
roommates.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing that made me really sad about this, though, was that Ari and his parents and his side of the family, you know, like his sisters, and were the only people who talked to their aunt because the rest of their family didn't support their aunt.
Yeah.
I mean, his aunt, not their aunt. What? She's not everyone's aunt. No, but I felt so bad. I was like, oh.
Me too.
But anyway, he finds that out, and I think that's also a bit of like a turning point for him, because he realizes that like it's actually more normal for people to, you know, like people of the same gender than he thinks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's also a turning point, because he also realizes someone else in his family, you know, is gay, and I think he doesn't say this in the book, but I think it kind of made him feel a little bit less bad in his mind.
Yeah, me too. And I think he saw that his parents
Supported
understood and
her.
supported her. Yeah. And I think that maybe, I feel like these feelings were very like repressed.
Yeah.
And like maybe subconscious, because he's not like openly talking about this in the book.
Yeah.
But I feel like, yeah, it made him feel better.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think it definitely helped him a lot, and knowing that his parents could be that understanding.
Yeah.
Especially because he didn't really know a lot about his dad, so I think he was also kind of worried about what his dad would think, because in the book he's like, Dad, like, are you supportive of this? And he's like, yeah, she was a great person.
Mm-hmm.
Bernardo.
Oh.
Bernardo's freaking whack, though.
Yeah.
So throughout the whole entire book, Ari's angsty. He's mad because his parents haven't told him about anything about his older brother. He remembers him a little bit from when he was 4 or 5, but then after, you know, he was in jail. I think he was put in jail when he was like 15 or 16, when Bernardo was 15 or 16. It's freaking crazy what happened.
It's crazy. I think he got a prostitute, right?
Yeah, he was mad.
The prostitute ended up being transgender, so then he killed her.
Yeah.
With his bare hands. And then he went to prison.
And then he killed someone else in prison with his bare hands.
Oh my god, yeah. I forgot about that.
Which is crazy.
Crazy.
Oh, it's crazy.
Ooh, diabolical.
Whenever that happened, my jaw dropped.
Same.
I did not remember that at all.
Yeah. Insane.
It's insane. And Ari's parents were also a bit worried because Ari was very like angry and angsty.
Mm-hmm.
Probably because he was like, you know, repressing so many emotions. And he couldn't understand like what was going on. And his parents were very worried because they were like, the same thing happened to your brother, and look where he is. He's in jail.
Yeah. And I think there's like a turning point in the book when Dante is kissing a boy in public. Or, like, in an alleyway or something.
Yes!
And then a bunch of guys come and beat them up.
Beat the hell out of Dante.
Yeah.
And the guy that Dante was kissing ran
away, yeah. And so
Dante didn't run.
I know. Oh. And he ends up in the hospital.
Yeah.
And Ari sees Dante and he gets so angry. And
pissed.
Yeah. And he finds the boy that he was kissing, Daniel.
Ugh.
And then he's like, okay, give me the names of the guys who beat you up.
Mm-hmm.
And he finds them, one of them, at his job and beats him up.
Beats the hell out of him.
Yeah.
Breaks his nose.
He goes home and his parents are so, like, they're really upset.
Yeah, they're
I think
like...
his mom was, like, crying.
Yeah, they were like, this is the exact same thing your brother did.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Except he didn't kill him, though.
Yeah, that's good. Then the story would end very differently.
Yeah, it really would. And we kind of know that Ari likes fighting throughout the entire book.
Yeah.
He's built strong, and, he, throughout the entire book, he knows how to stand up for himself.
Mm-hmm.
That was crazy. Honestly, that freaking guy, Julian, I think his name was, who he beat up, deserved that.
Deserved it, 1,000%.
And his nose was the only thing that was broken. Ari was in the hospital. He had, I think, cracked ribs and, like, black eyes, and he was beat so much by those guys that you couldn't even recognize his face.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely terrible.
That is terrible.
So then Daniel goes to freaking Dante's house whenever Dante's finally released from the hospital. And, like, they talk. And then Dante forgave Daniel for running away.
Bro. No.
And Ari was like, I freaking hate that guy. Why would you forgive him? I feel like that's also, like, one of their major fights in the book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because he's really mad at Dante for forgiving Daniel after just leaving him there. But before Ari goes to the hospital, he finds out that Dante's dad knows that Dante likes boys. And throughout the whole book, Dante's like, should I tell my parents? Should I tell my parents? Because they're super sweet throughout the book. But he's afraid. So Ari talks to Dante's dad. And his dad's like, I don't know why he just didn't tell me. I love him either way.
Aww.
So anyway, it's kind of like, they knew, like, the entire time that Dante did.
Mm-hmm.
Like, guys. And they supported him.
Oh.
But yeah, so eventually, I think Ari and Dante eventually kind of, like, talk about, when he was kissing Daniel in the alleyway. And Dante says, I wasn't kissing him. In my head, I was kissing you.
Oh my god.
Which is, like, the third freaking time Dante says that he's in love with Ari. And that Ari's like, what do I say about this? What do I say to him right now? So then Ari just shrugs it off. And then the end of the book.
The end.
His mom and dad call family meeting. Like, family meeting. And Ari's dad sits across from him and tells him a story from when he was in the war. And that really makes us understand his character more. It really makes us understand why he's so quiet, and I just feel so bad for him. That story was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And he was talking about it to Ari, and Ari was just, he felt really bad for his dad, but he was also really happy that he was finally opening up to him.
Mm-hmm.
And then his dad says, I need to stop running away from those memories, just like you need to stop running away.
Whoa.
And Ari's like, what do you mean? His dad's like, you're in love with Dante.
That scene was so beautiful, but it's also kind of funny.
It's funny because his parents are like, you're gay.
Like, he didn't come out to his parents. His parents made him come out.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's like coming out, but like reverse.
Reverse coming out. Your parents tell you you're gay.
Your parents are like, son, you're gay.
You're gay.
So they talk about it, and then Ari's like, I'm so ashamed, like, because, in the 80s, it wasn't very accepted. He's like, I'm so ashamed, and his parents are like, but we support you, and we love you, and we're so proud of you.
Yeah.
Which I think is a very, very beautiful moment.
Me too.
Mm-hmm. I thought that was a really beautiful moment. How everyone was, like, sharing their stories, talking about their insecurities and their trauma and their feelings, and they were all trying to work through it together. I thought that was really beautiful.
Me too, yeah.
So then, at the very end, Ari and Dante take Ari's truck to the desert because they both love the desert and they love the lack of light pollution and they love looking at the stars. But Dante's mad. He's like, I think I am mad. Like, I'm mad. I don't think I could be friends with you anymore. And then Ari's like, Dante, remember when I said that the kiss didn't work for me? And then Dante's like, I haven't forgotten. Do you think I've forgotten? Wait, I need to quote this line for line. Hold on. This is like the most beautiful scene ever. Yes. And I know the exact page to turn to. I have the book right here for those of you. Because you guys can't see. So I have the book right here. What did I say when you kissed me? You said it didn't work for you. I lied. He looked at me. Don't play with me, Ari. I'm not. I took him by the shoulders. I looked at him. And he looked at me. You said I wasn't scared of anything. That's not true. You. That's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of you, Dante. I took a deep breath. Try it again. Kiss me. No, he said. Kiss me. No. And then he smiled. You kiss me.
Oh.
And then Ari kisses him. And then they go on the truck bed and look up at the stars.
Oh my god.
What a freaking masterpiece.
What a masterpiece. So beautiful.
It tears me up every time.
Me too. I cry.
Yeah.
Every time.
That is the literal last 2 pages of the book.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about freaking slow burn, bro.
Yeah.
So this book is, I think, around 350 pages long.
Yeah.
That scene gets me every time.
Literally my favorite ending of any book I've ever read, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what would you rate this book out of 5
Rate
stars?
it a 5
Yay!
out of 5. What would you rate it?
Freaking 5 out of 5, of course.
Of course.
And I love how I rated it that, like, 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still the exact same rating. I still got sweet, wholesome feelings reading that book.
Of course.
Everything about it is just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's so sweet and wholesome. And another thing I really liked about the book is how their parents became friends and they all became like one big family.
Yeah. It's a very, like, loving book. There's a lot of love.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like some media and some books are very, and some people are very, like, logic based and very, just based on logic.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like this book is very based on emotions, and, like, it's almost like an emotional, intelligent book, if that makes sense. And I feel like that's why we love it so much, is because we're very emotion-based people. And it's just a very poetic book. It's a very beautifully written book.
Yes.
There's a lot of love, there's a lot of emotions. Every character has their moment, and every character is very real and is very flawed and has emotions, has great dialogue. And I just love every single character. I love the way it's written. Yeah, it's so beautiful.
I feel like this whole story, because it's written in past tense, I feel like it's just Ari writing a love story and a love letter to Dante.
Yeah, that's so true.
He's saying, like, my life changed when I met you for the better.
Yeah.
And he really did. And they helped each other. And they helped each other grow. I just thought it was so beautiful.
Like, this book will make you feel things.
This book will make you feel so much love in your heart.
Yeah.
And it's heartbreaking whenever there are moments like Ari's in the hospital, Dante's in the hospital. But it really does, in the end, have a really good ending.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good. And the cover of this book is so beautiful. It's Ari's truck and the place where they go in the desert to look at the stars. You can see the stars at the top of the cover, but in the back you can see a little bit of light pollution, which I think is funny because they're so against light pollution through the entire book.
I also feel like one of the things I love about this book is, how do I describe this? It's very like intuitive, if that makes sense. Like some books and some movies kind of feed the plot to you, and there's a lot of like long explanations of like exactly what's happening, exactly what people are feeling. Whereas this book, it's I've said this so many times, but it's like a poem. So you really have to like use your intuition, I guess, to understand what the characters are feeling and why they're feeling that way. It's not like, it doesn't explain it for you. You just have to like understand the dialogue and what the characters are doing, if that makes sense.
I loved the amount of dialogue in this book, and I thought it was written incredibly well.
Yeah.
Everyone's emotions was written so well, and everyone acted their age.
Yeah.
Which I really, really liked.
That's very true. Oh my god, book ASMR?
Book ASMR.
It's time for book ASMR. Rate that ASMR on a scale of 1 to 10.
10 out of 10.
Thank you.
Amazing. I literally could fall asleep. People need to start sending me ASMR videos that they make on their own. You need to start doing that. Our friends need to start doing that. If you guys are listening, you need to do that.
Bruh.
Anyway, though, are there any other comments you'd like to make about the book?
My favorite book of all time.
Yeah.
And I'll reread it so many times.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of my favorite love stories, like, in general. Even, like, not even just because of the fact that it's a gay love story, just, like, in general, it's such a good love story. And I think all the characters are so well written, and it's definitely very worth reading. Especially if you're a super emotional person, you'll love this book.
110%. Thank you guys so much for listening today. We hope you enjoyed it. Next time, we are going to be comparing the Ari and Dante book to the movie adaptation.
Yes.
We're going to be talking about the differences, the things we liked, the things we maybe didn't like, and we hope to see you there. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you're over on YouTube, please like and subscribe. If you're on Spotify, please give us a follow and leave us a rating. And please share this podcast if you like it. Share it to your friends or family. Yes. Thank you guys so much for listening. We hope that you listen again. Thank you guys so much for listening, and I hope that you have an amazing rest of your day. Bye, guys.
Bye.